Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, ask and answer a question, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. The summer of superheroes continues, and on this episode I'm showing some love to the King of Wakanda, Black Panther. Now, Black Panther was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and made his debut in Fantastic Four number 52 in 1966. And folks, he is the first black superhero in comics. And in addition to being the King of Wakanda, he's also one of the smartest men in comics. He has an assortment of degrees from different colleges throughout the world. And really love the monthly series that's going on with that's written by John Ridley with art by Juan Cabal. And then I wouldn't feel right if I didn't talk about the unbelievable job that the late great Chadwick Boseman did in Marvel movies, all the way from Captain America Civil War through Avengers Endgame, and even did the voice of T'Challa in season 1 of Marvel's What If. Alright, this is a Black Panther Comic Hero tee, and if you would like your very own, you can find them on my website, IamTheComicHero.com, for $20. I mean, Black Panther, he is, one thing about him is that he may be the King of Wakanda, but he understands he's a superhero as well. And a lot of times, he kind of upsets all the folks in Wakanda, whenever he slips off and does superhero things, or he helps out with the Avengers, or if he helps out other heroes. I mean, that's just the kind of person that he is. Now, disobedience can be bad, but in some instances, disobedience can be very fulfilling, and that's the thing with T'Challa. So yeah, Wakanda forever. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, I asked which DC character was the second black superhero to debut in their own series. Well, the correct answer was Black Lightning. It was created by Tony Isabella and Trevor Von Eaton and debuted in Black Lightning number 1 in 1977. And 5 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their name's been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Logan Knudsen from Bossier City, Louisiana. So congratulations, Logan. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Storm question. And when I mean Storm of the X-Men. True or false? In the comics, Storm's hair is naturally white. Everyone who answers correctly will be in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And while I'm on the subject of Storm, I need to correct something that I said in last week's episode. I was wrong about a few things when it came to Storm. Now one thing that I am right about, Storm is the first black member of the X-Men. What I'm wrong about is where Storm is from. Now, Storm's mother is from Kenya, but she ended up traveling to America, then met Storm's father, whose name is David Monroe. They fell in love, got married, and Storm came along. So Storm really is from New York. She's half American, half Kenyan. And Storm's father's job, Storm's father ended up getting relocated to Cairo, Egypt, and then both Storm and her mother had made the move with her. with them. And what happened was that there was a plane crash. A plane crashed in her house and killed both of her parents, but spared Storm. And she had to, and she pretty much had to raise herself from then on out. But I said that to say this. Every once in a while, I mean, it's okay to be wrong, but and it's okay to admit that you're wrong. But don't go around with your chest all puffed out and say, "Well, I said what I said." No. Be the bigger person, and if you're wrong, just be the bigger person and admit it. There's no dishonor in it. All right, I gotta ask. Any questions?
Questions I walk around in. Questions I didn't thrive in. Questions I will survive in. Questions.
I only have one question for this week. It is from Frank Mayo from Spring Hill, Louisiana. He asked, "What's your most valuable comic?" Well, Frank, it's not just one comic. It's actually 6 of them. It's a 6-part miniseries that DC came out with in 1986 called The Man of Steel. Now, the whole significance behind this is that after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, everything in DC continued with the exception of Superman and Wonder Woman. They practically retold their origins in this one, and Superman's origin was retold for the first time in 48 years. And it was written and penciled by John Byrne with arts by Dick Giordano. And it was a really coming of age series. It really modernized Superman in the way that we know him today. I don't know exactly offhand how much it's worth, but but come on, this is Superman, and this is not, and this is a retelling of his origin, so it's probably up there. It's probably in the, if not the $1 million range, then definitely somewhere in the thousands. I mean, I really, when it comes to comics, I really don't, I pride on taking care of them. Make no mistake about it. But in the monetary sense, I honestly don't care about that. All right, really loving these questions, folks. Y'all keep them coming. Now, next week I won't have an any question segment, but I will on episode 409. All right, now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics. All right, there's only one thing I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and I recently finished reading this crossover event from DC called Trial of the Amazons. Now, yes, this is a Wonder Woman event. As a matter of fact, there are a few issues of Wonder Woman that take place in this crossover. There's Trial of the Amazons numbers 1 and 2, and there's 2 issues of Wonder Woman, and then there's the final issue of Nubia and the Amazons, and then there's a miniseries within the miniseries called Trial of the Amazons Wonder Girl, which stars both the Cassie Sandsmark and the Yara Flor Wonder Girls. And the Trial of the Amazons, okay, first off, we find out that that the Themyscirans aren't the only tribe. There are 2 more tribes. There's the Bynamite Dal, which are former Themyscirans who were ousted from the island of Themyscira by Hippolyta herself. And then there's the Escocitas, which is an Amazonian tribe that's out of Brazil. And what happens is that they all gather on the island, and they're about to take part in their first ever trial. Well, before this all gets started, there's a murder. Someone murders Hippolyta, which of course is Wonder Woman's mother, and former Queen of the Amazons, and that was before she left Nubia in charge. Someone puts poison, offered her drink, and it kills her. And at first, they were going to cancel everything, but then Nubia had said, no, this will go on, and then charged Cassie Sandsmark to investigate Hippolyta's murder. And one thing about this miniseries, we find out. Okay, first off, Cassie Sandsmark is an actual half god. She's more than just an Amazon. She's half god, and she's also a great detective. She not only found out who murdered her, but she found out how it all went down, detail by detail. And we find out that it was Artemis, and Artemis had done this because she was still a little upset over being ousted from the island by Hippolyta. And you know what, honestly, that would make sense. But anyway, the trial goes on, and representing the Bynamite doll is Donna Troy. And representing the Themyscirans is Philippus, and representing the Escocitas is the Yara Flor Wonder Girl. But then, just as the trial was about to start, Wonder Woman throws her hat in and says that she's going to represent all three trials. Well, things are getting interesting, but then all of a sudden, there's an earthquake on the island, and then the grounds on which that all four of them were on caved in, and then they were trying to find their way out, and it resulted in them, instead of working and fighting each other, working together to get out of there, which they do. But then we find out there's this other part of the island called the Devil's Door, which is an underground part of the island, and we find out Nubia, before she became the interim queen of the Amazons, was actually the gatekeeper of the Devil's Door. And we find out that there was this entity by the name of Chaos that had somehow escaped the door. Now Wonder Woman had seemingly encased them in the door, but she forgot to seal it. And they're about to, and they're fighting Chaos, but then two of the Amazons, Antiope and Atalanta, not only absorbed Chaos, but end up going inside going through the door and sealing it, thus sacrificing their lives to save everyone on the island, and possibly the entire world. And they have a memorial service for Hippolyta, and then later, Nubia is anointed. It has the interim tag removed, and she is the full-on queen of the Amazons. And not only that, but Wonder Woman also gives Yara a brand new tiara and christens her Wonder Girl, and then she's like, "You do know I'm 20, right?" And she's like, "Well, wear it well." But I really enjoyed this miniseries. I think it's great, and I can't wait to start reading the first issue of of Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, which takes place right after the Coronation special, which I also read. But Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, Stephanie Williams have all done a great job on this miniseries, and I can't wait to read more issues of Wonder Woman, and also again Nubia, Queen of the Amazons. And then Yara is also, despite her book being canceled, is also going to be part of Dark Crisis, which I'm also going to start reading. But if y'all are sleeping on it, y'all better wake up and wait till it comes out on TPB. And if it does, I'll definitely let y'all know. Alright, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is Ben Reilly Spider-Man number 5. Blood Syndicate Season 1 number 2. Really excited about this one. Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 1. Fantastic Four number 44. I Am Batman number 10. Iron Man number 20. Naomi Season 2 number 4. Radiant Black number 15. Savage Spider-Man number 4. Shadow War Omega. Spider-Gwen Gwenverse number 3. Superman Son of Kal-El number 12. What If Miles Morales number 4. Wolverine number 22. Wonder Woman number 788. And finally, X-Men Red number 3. Alright, that's 16, which brings the total number of comics I bought since December of 1997 to 11,420. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. True or false? In the comics, Storm's hair is naturally white. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Logan Knutson from Bossier City, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this week's episode. Alright, on next week's episode, which is episode 408, I'm going to show some love to that Star-Spangled Man with a Plan, Captain America. Then on episode 409, I'm going to show some love to the old Green Jeans, the Incredible Hulk. Now, this year marks the Incredible Hulk's 60th anniversary. And then on episode 410, going to show some love to the King of Asgard himself, the God of Thunder, Thor. Now, Thor, this is also his 60th anniversary as well. And if y'all have any suggestions y'all want to make for the show, go ahead and do so. Now, if it's negative or tasteless, then I'm just gonna be deaf to it, because we just have to be good to each other. I mean, life stinks when you're just going around being ugly to everyone. I mean, we just need to start getting along better. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go ahead and hit subscribe. Alright, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 408. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and Wakanda forever!